Alright, so we've got to put these parabola equations into standard form. Basically, that just means complete the square. So it's the same way that we did with circles, ellipse, hyperbolas. It's just we only complete the square on the values being squared. So I'm only going to have to do it once with the parabola. You know this shape is a parabola because only one of the values, either x or y, is being squared, not both. So that's how we know it's a parabola. The first thing you want to do is figure out what the quadratic is, what's being squared. So it's my x term. So I get all of the x's to one side, everything else to the other, including the y's. So the first problem, the first example, is already done for us. Then we're going to actually complete the square on the x's. And just like before, whatever I add to one side, I have to add to both. Half of b is 1, 1 squared is 1. I'm going to add that to both sides. Then we factor. So the left side is exactly how we've been working with. Then the y's, I have to turn it into my standard form. So I have to get it to be just y plus or minus something in a parenthesis. So I'm going to factor out the -4. That's going to leave y minus 1/4. That right there is standard form. If I wanted to sketch it, my vertex would be -1, positive 1/4. My a value, well, I know that 4a is -4, so a equals -1. So as a sketch, I would plot my vertex. It's right there. It's a y equals x squared graph. Y equals -x squared, I should say. So that tells me that if I were to graph it, it's going to go upside down. My a value is -1, so I'm going to go up 1 and down 1. And let's see, I was at 1/4, so I'm now at -3/4. That's my focus. And then my directrix is going to be the line y equals 1 and 1/4. And it didn't ask you to sketch, but that's what it would look like if you were. Then the second one, we have the same idea. It's just we have to rearrange things. So the first one, everything was already on the correct side. Now the difference is I just have to get everything organized. So I have my y squared. That means I'm going to keep all of the y terms onto the left side. Then I'm going to bring everything else over. So minus 12x and minus 25. Half of b, -1, -1 squared is 1. So I've got to add that to both sides and factor. So left side is done. Then I've got -12x minus 24, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in final standard form, which means I have to get rid of the -12. So I'm going to factor out the -12, which leaves x plus 2. Then that's my standard form, final answer. If I wanted to graph it, we'll put that over to the side. My vertex is -2, positive 1. My a value is -3 because 4a equals -12. So we'll just plot vertex. Right here would be an x equals -y squared, so it's going to open to the left. So that means I'm going to go back 3, and the a value will tell you. And then I'm going to go forward 3 for the directrix. So that directrix is x equals 1, and then we're going to sketch my parabola, and we are finished.